Welcome to Linux Talks with TuxCare. Today, we explore the XZ compromise. I'm Joao, technical evangelist, and I'll guide you through what happened, how it happened, and the implications for the world of open source software development. The XZ project, established in 2009 by Lasse Collins, provides lossless compression functionality for multiple other projects, including countless Linux distributions and components. Over the years, it has become indispensable and deeply tied to packaging and build pipelines, for example, for the Linux kernel. Earlier this year, users attempting to visit the XZ GitHub page were met with a notice stating that the repository was disabled due to a terms of service violation. The reason? Distribution of malware. Now, the news broke just before Easter, sending shockwaves through the cybersecurity community. Twitter exploded with discussions as experts and enthusiasts scrambled to uncover the details. It turns out that Gia10, a contributor given commit permissions 2 years ago, played a central role. In hindsight, it seems that Gia's addition to the project was part of a sophisticated social engineering campaign. As part of this campaign, the project maintainer was pressured by receiving multiple emails complaining about the delay on new features being added and the time that it was taking to address existing issues. Multiple fake email accounts were used to create the impression that the problems affected a disproportionate number of users when in fact they didn't. Being a sole maintainer, Lasse Collins was overworked, and the pressure led him to believe that he was not able to cope with the project demands, given its popularity and wide use. Thus, he accepted a new maintainer who had already contributed some innocuous code. After gaining a foothold in the project, Gia10, or the threat actor behind the account, managed to gain enough privileges to make his contributions be accepted faster and with less scrutiny than others. This was an operation that ran for a very long time. The initial commits made by the threat actor to XZ were done over 2 years prior to the malicious commit being committed. The resources, effort, and technical skill involved make it difficult to accept that it was the work of a single hacker. Andreas Freund, a software engineer at Microsoft, stumbled upon the issue while conducting unrelated performance tests on Linux VMs. He noticed an unusual CPU usage in the SSHD process, leading to the discovery of a backdoor in XZ. As the Microsoft engineer acknowledged, this was caught not by a code review but entirely by chance. The backdoor was introduced through binary files added to the XZ repository as part of a test suite. These files, handcrafted with a hex editor, as the author boasted in the commit message, were difficult to analyze and contained the malicious code spread around the files. It would be reconstructed further along the automated build process for XZ. Since no malicious code was obvious, it evaded detection. As for the backdoor itself, through a series of dependencies and libraries loaded at runtime, Linux systems running systemd and glibc would load XZ compromised code into the secure shell daemon, SSHD. The malicious code, primarily in the getCPUID function, activated upon SSHD receiving an attacker-controlled public key, allowing remote control over affected systems. The scope of affected systems, had the backdoor been successfully deployed and not caught, would have impacted all Red Hat-based and Debian-based distributions out there, either already installed through regular updates or newly deployed by compromised installation media. The incredible reach this attack was going for is very difficult to overstate. On March 28th, Andreas Freund's findings led to a swift response. Distributions were notified and updates were released, rolling back to versions prior to the compromise. Debian and Fedora were among the first to acknowledge the presence of compromised packages. The Debian project even opted to rebuild their entire build system to ensure integrity. This incident highlights several critical issues within the open source community: the burden on maintainers, the ease of social engineering, and the challenges of ensuring security in widely used projects. Open source projects, often run by volunteers, are vulnerable to such sophisticated attacks. Threat actors can be exceedingly creative. Rather than relying solely on established practices for security, it's important to constantly revise and update the defensive measures in place around code development, review, and distribution. XZ is not the only critical piece of open source software, and the sheer luck that led to the discovery of this attack only highlights the importance of remaining vigilant on all the dependencies used by a given package. But just as important, the soft skills involved in maintaining open source projects, particularly a widely used one, are also very relevant. There is, nor should it be, any expectation of delivery or results that can be forced onto voluntary maintainers of open source code. Pressuring, harassing, or guilt-tripping developers providing their work for free for others to use is not, has never been, nor should it ever be accepted or acceptable. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive on the XC compromise. Stay vigilant, stay secure, and support your open source communities. For more insights and updates, don't forget to subscribe. If you like this content, press the like button, and thank you very much for joining. Until the next one.